Good morning, and welcome to Coolin's Morning Inspirations. I'm your host, Michael Terrell, and it's been a good little minute since I've been on here. It's been a good minute, and I guess to say, like one of my friends always tells me, life been lifing, It's not because anything crazy or anything like that, but sometimes you gotta adjust, and sometimes you have to take a step back to make all the right adjustments that you need to better yourself or better your life or change certain situations that's going on. And so I'm happy to be back, and I'm going to try to make this way more consistent. I'm very proud of myself for a lot of the things, things with my job, with my business, with parenting, a lot of things that, normally, can, put a halt to some of the things that you want to do. And especially if you want to do it right, you have to kind of step back sometimes and make sure that the steps that you're taking are the right steps. And it brought me to want to bring this up this morning. And the subject that I wanted to talk to you guys this morning about was break the cycle that came before you. Not to get too deep into my parents or anything of that nature, but there is a lot of things that I've grown up to witness that I know wasn't going to be beneficial to me or anybody else down the line in my, gene pool. And so I've always wanted to, well, not always, let me be honest. I was going to end up being just another statistic of passing down a generational curse from generation to generation. But I kind of woke up mid-stride and started to realize a lot of things that were going on in my life. I didn't want to pass it down to any children that I have, and I didn't want them to be able to pass it down to their children, and it just becomes something that just keeps going. So this morning I wanted to talk to you guys about taking the steps, even if you have to be that sacrificial lamb, to say, to make that stuff happen. Sometimes it takes pain, agony, sacrifice. Sometimes you have to look at, your parents or your parents' parents and really pinpoint what are the determining factors of changing your reality. And there were a lot of things that I've seen in myself, that I've seen in the past, that I didn't want to, keep it going down generation to generation to generation. So I took the proper steps to try to change them. I always wanted to make an example, even though I wasn't the best example when I was growing up. But as I got older, I started to wake up into, everybody throws this woke thing so quickly and love to say that they're woke. But being woke sometimes will have you in tears every morning, because you start to recognize the things that destroy you or have destroyed your family or have destroyed relationships or destroyed a job. And when you wake up and realize it, it's something that you can't unsee. It's like being in the Matrix and you taking that red pill, and once you take that pill, your reality changed and it won't change back. I remember when, life was very, very easy for me, and I was always wanting to be the life of the party, easy going, but I really wasn't accomplishing anything. And it wasn't until, my daughter was born to where I started to recognize, like, am I going to be leaving her anything? Am I going to be showing her anything? Am I going to be the example, for her, or am I just going to pass down this burden to her and pass it down and keep it trickling? And as I get older, I get to watch the destruction that I created. And I'm not the most religious person, but I know that they used to always say that, about 30 days and 30 nights, in the wilderness, in the dark, where you have to use use that time to kind of find yourself. And I kind of had the thoughts before, but I remember back in 2021, I almost lost my life. I got hit by a car, and on the expressway, over in Decatur off of I-20. I was on the side of the expressway, and my daughter just moved with me, and I got hit by that car. And from there, I felt like, it's touching. I felt like I was about to basically pass that generational curse down to her. She just moved with me. I don't even think she wasn't probably I think she's 16 now, and it's 2026, so 2021, so she had to be like 11. Yeah, she had to be like 11, and she just moved with me. Her mom just let her move with me to go to school, with me. And she moved with me, I think, in August. And the accident happened in November. And I was thinking to myself, thank God that, I'm here. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I would have had traumatized my daughter the same way that when my dad was he was murdered by a 16-year-old that was a robbing crew or something. I don't know all the details, but I had to be around 12, 13 years old when that happened. And I remember growing up with insecurities, anger, just a lot of unhinged frustration. And it rolled off into, me dealing with people, me dealing with my mom, being in school. Like, it made it real rough on me when it came down to growing up. And one thing I never wanted it was to pass that down. And that was long story short, that was like my true wake up call. And when I got that wake up call, I literally, I was in a relationship. That relationship didn't work out right after the accident. The accident was in November, and by the beginning of January, that relationship was over with. And it felt like the beginning of my 30 days, 30 nights, but it was way longer than that. It was more like 2 years of first having to heal from being, messed up because of my collarbone was broke, my ribs was fractured, I had a laceration on my leg, I had a contusion on top of my head. I had a couple of things that was wrong with me, but nothing major. It was hard for me to walk for a little while, but nothing major. But from that point, it was like, I gotta live this like there is no tomorrow. They say that, that was a famous quote in one of the Rocky movies. There is no tomorrow. You have to live like there is no tomorrow. And I get that. I see a lot of people that's out here, that parties, that does so much stuff, but it's like, what are you doing for the next generation? Or what are you doing for yourself for the future? And a lot of people really waste it away. A lot of people waste away their whole life doing the same old thing that gets them nothing or nowhere. And they don't get to really enjoy life. They get to enjoy, the intangibles of what they have around them. But in real life, they don't really get to live. They get to just exist and try to be happy while they exist. And I didn't want to sit here and be like, I get to exist and then I'm going to pass my existence on to my children while I'm watching everybody else, in different areas. They're like really working to leave I don't want to like an inheritance or, or something of value that their kids can really hold on to. Like, my grandparents, on both sides, they were able to, buy a house for themselves and work their way to being okay in life and being able to do a lot of things. But then when it came down to my parents, it was a different subject. And I'm not saying anything negative on that, but it's just life be lifing. And
thank you for tuning in to the Unbreakable Black Man Podcast. Remember to listen out for up and coming shows, and you can also follow me on all social platforms at Unbreakable BMP. If you would like to reach out with topic ideas, or even if you would like to be a guest on the show, you can always reach me by email at theunbreakablepodcast@gmail.com. As we close out, always remember your tongue is strong, but your mind is even stronger. So stop just talking about it and make shit happen.
If you're trying to find love, know it's hard to keep. Even when it get tough and you wanna leave, take a look into your eyes where I find reason. Yeah. Writing love letters with my broken English. Conversate with a self, I'm wishing you well. Set the time and place and I'll meet you there. Be right there, be right, I'll be right. Stumbling up the stairs, please come, I need help. Can't do this alone, show me that you're there. We've been through so much in the past week. Can we start afresh, leaving in last week? Temptations and that old phone. They been trying to separate